his credentials earlier to President Jammeh a few months ago, also acknowledges the historical ties between Doha and Banjul, which he said further demonstrates his government's and investors' commitment to explore the huge potentials inherent in the Gambia. Fatou Mas Job Njai, the Minister of Tourism and Culture, who after extending felicitations to the ambassador for his country's 135 years of development and peace, also underscored the formidable ties both countries continue to enjoy following the visit of the Gambian leader to Doha in 2010.
The government of the Republic of the Gambia and the government of the state of Qatar have enjoyed harmonious and cordial relations based on our shared values, particularly the pursuance of human development for our respective peoples, especially in an era of global economic decline.
The tourism minister further reiterates the Gambia government's appreciation towards the continuous health, educational and social assistance the country continues to receive from their Qatari counterparts, while urging investors to come and further discover the Gambia.
I will hence seize this opportunity to once again extend an invitation to investors in the state of Qatar to please come and explore the business opportunities in the Gambia, with the guarantee that our country provides one of the vital preconditions for investment. Those are the peace and stability.
Qatar was emancipated from Bahraini rule in 1878 thanks to their visionary leader Sheikh Jassim, who led the country to unity. In 1916, it was a British protectorate until it was declared an independent state from British rule in 1971. Since then, the country has been one of the fastest developing states in the world, producing both petroleum and natural gas. Qatar will be hosting the 2022 World Cup, which is expected to be attended by millions of fans around the world. As the guests wine and dine in celebration of another memorable day in the history of Qatar's historic way to unity and development, the celebration also availed them the opportunity to compliment their founding fathers for setting the stage for the country's historic development. Samuel Ba, GRTS.
Personnel of the National Enterprise Development Initiative, backed by their counterparts at the National Youth Service Scheme, the Ministry of Agriculture and the APRC Political Bureau have been harvesting their 7.5-hectare youth farm in Sapo, Central River Region. Our Mumudu Bajan went along, and this is his report.
Venturing into rice cultivation with a view to encouraging the youth of the country to embrace agriculture as a means of employment, it is now time for the National Enterprise Development Initiative and the National Youth Service Scheme to harvest their produce. It could be described as a classic way of leading by example. The event, dubbed Joint Traditional Field Day, engaged officials from the ministry in charge of youth matters, the Agriculture Ministry, APRC Political Bureau and other stakeholders. The Acting Executive Director, NYSS, Sute Jawo, seized the opportunity to reiterate the main thrust of the agricultural venture.
Agriculture would be one of the biggest priorities of NYSS some years to come. And that is the more reason why some of our COP members, today you count them, they are more than 50, that we have sent to various countries ranging from Burkina Faso, Benin and Mali respectively, to train in agriculture and agronomy, and most of whom are already in the country now. All what we are doing now is to see how best we can bring those people into cooperatives so that they are able to join FATI and the core to be able to expand production around Sapo, being one of the most viable area for rice cultivation in this country.
When the Honorable Minister spoke, he said there is luxury in agriculture, and there is pride, and there is reward, and there is all those good things associated to agriculture, because at the end of the day, what you achieve, you can proudly stand and say, this is my sweat. This is our sweat.
The Minister of Youth and Sport, Aliu K. Jammeh, enumerated the benefits of youth involvement in agriculture apart from contributing to the national food basket.
Geared towards nothing but to empower young people as first priority, and secondly, in the drive of achieving food self-sufficiency for this country. Now, we are asking the young people to look back to agriculture, to come to agriculture and see it as a viable entity that can help them earn a living. That's the campaign that we are on, all on this, to get them understand that agriculture is a viable entity from which they can make a decent living for their own well-being.
The two bodies at the forefront of efforts to inspire and encourage the youth of the country to embrace agriculture have farms in several regions. This explains the presence of officials at the district and ward level in the presence of Alhaji Mohamed Fati, the Sapo Farm Coordinator, Councillor Fatou Trawale, and Sefo Mamadou Lamin Drame, who also buttressed the importance of young, abled men and women to till the land and sow seeds in support of the National Food Self-Sufficiency Drive, whilst combating youth unemployment. It is no understatement that the Gambia is blessed with more than enough arable land to cater for the basic food needs of this country of a population of around 2 million people. However, farming, particularly rice cultivation, cannot be left in the hands of women and the elderly if the country's food independence drive may be achieved. The trial has been blessed by President Jammeh, and if anything, it is for the youth to follow his lead by putting their shoulders to the wheel. The Deputy Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture, Assimi Cole, like numerous others, also harped on the same point.
We need to feed ourselves. If you look at the population globally in this world, I mean, the trend at which we are going, if we do not go back to the land, my brother, we are going to get hungry, you know. You're talking of what? About 6 billion people? I mean, there's a lot of people. Look at Gambia today. You're talking of almost about 2 million people. I mean, we need to feed ourselves.
There is a lot of untapped potential in the country's teeming mass of young people, most of whom are unemployed. The NYSS NEDI partnership, powered through their line ministry, is solely dedicated to this laudable and rewarded endeavor, which can bolster youth empowerment efforts. Modu Bajan, Grts, Sapo, Central River Region.
Trust Bank Gambia Limited has been named the culture-friendly bank in the country by the Minister of Tourism and Culture, Fatou Mas Diop Ndiaye. That development came as the bank officially handed over the newly renovated roofs of the National Museum and perimeter fence, marking another step in the bank's efforts to preserve the Gambia's cultural heritage. Rohibite reports.
Of interventions in the preservation of the country's cultural heritage, Trust Bank Gambia Limited has handed over the newly renovated roofs of a National Museum building, which is half a century old, along with its perimeter fence as part of effort to safeguard the cultural elements that are kept safe in the museum. Trust Bank Gambia Limited is creating a feature for the past where the words of the board chairman of the NCAC, Tijan Kamara also acknowledged their sense of appreciation of culture, which he believed was lacking, something that could be attributed to the poor patronage of the arts.
The way you were forthcoming in your intervention, they are not. So I want to believe that sometimes the funds may be there, the big name of the corporation may be there, but if you fail to realize one thing, then that's where the problem comes in. And that one thing that I'm referring to here is that aesthetics for the arts, that appreciation of arts and culture.
An institution entrusted with what many considered as one of the successful financial institutions, Trust Bank Gambia Limited was said to have recognized the significant role the center play in safeguarding the country's past for the consumption of present and future generations.
The adoption of the Wasu stone circles to symbolize the uniquely Gambian nature of our enterprise. The Wasu stone circles is the oldest and most recognizable UNESCO heritage sites in the Gambia, and of course, the NCAC are the custodians. We have also worked closely with the NCAC to create some unique content of our calendars in the last 5 years. We have also provided funding to the NCAC to do their brochures and also financing their recent archiving project.
The bank has in the past 5 years developed a fruitful and cooperative relationship with the National Center for Arts and Culture.
As culture is transversal phenomena and pervades all aspects of human endeavor and sustainable development by supporting culture, Trust Bank is contributing to development of what all of us cherish as ours. There are no people or segment of society without culture. Thus, the most effective way to touch the hearts and minds of all